Hi, it's Maya here with my spring book haul, and these are all the books that I've bought since my last haul, so since February to this day. The first thing that I bought in February is this novella that I've already read, The Convergence of Fairy Tales by Octavia Cade, and this is a dark, bloody, rage-filled fairy tale retelling that ties together 5 different fairy tale princesses into one character, and I loved it. I've also already read the physical book that I bought in February, and that is The Midwich Cuckoos by John Wyndham. This is a science fiction or horror modern classic from the 50s. And this was another really good read. The gist is that in the sleepy English village of Midwich, a mysterious silver object appears and all the inhabitants fall unconscious. A day later, the object is gone and everyone wakens unharmed, except that all the women in the village are discovered to be pregnant. So now we're on to March, and in March I bought 3 ebooks that were all on sale, and the first of those was 3 Parts Dead by Max Gladstone. This is the first book in the Craft sequence. A god has died, and it's up to Tara, a first-year associate in the international necromantic firm of Kelethres, Albrecht and Ao, to bring him back to life before his city falls apart. And I read the first chapter of this in the Try a Chapter tag, and it was really unique and imaginative. The second ebook that I bought in March was The Book of Phoenix by Nnedi Okorafor, and this tells about Phoenix, who was born and raised among other genetic experiments in New York's Tower 7. And after the death of a friend of hers, she finally begins to question Tower 7. I also read the prologue and first chapter of this in the Try a Chapter tag, and it was really captivating. The Abyss Surrounds Us by Emily Skrutsky is a young adult fantasy book with lesbian romance, pirates and sea monsters. And the description goes: for Cassandra Leung, bossing around sea monsters is just a family business, but when the pirate queen Santa Elena swoops in on Cassie's first solo mission and snatches her from the blood-stained decks, Cassie's dream of being a full-time trainer seems dead in the water. I picked this up mainly thanks to Danica, who tweeted that it was on sale. I will leave a link to her channel in the description. And also Adriana from Perpetual Pages might have had something to do with this book coming to my attention in the first place. Then in April I picked up another physical book, and this is The Tropic of Serpents by Mary Brennan. This is the second book in the Memoirs of Lady Trent series. And in this one, the dragon naturalist Isabella, Lady Trent, goes on her second dragon studying expedition. This series is set in a secondary world, but it has a lovely historical fantasy feel. I also picked up Wilding Hall by Elizabeth Hand, which is a horror novella that I've already read. A band talks about the summer in the 70s that they spent in Wilding Hall, where their lead singer disappeared. And this is just the kind of horror that I like, silently creepy and with supernatural elements. I also picked up on sale another ebook, Jodie Taylor's Just One Damned Thing After Another, which is the first book in the Chronicles of St. Mary's series. And Elizabeth from Books and Pieces and Caitlin from Kitty G really like this. It's a funny time travel adventure series, so of course I picked it up. It says, meet the disaster magnets of St. Mary's Institute of Historical Research as they ricochet around history. Their aim is to observe and document, to try and find the answers to many of history's unanswered questions, and not to die in the process. So I had only bought 2 physical books up until May, but then I bought the entire Doctrine of Labyrinth series by Sarah Monette. I love The Goblin Emperor, which Monette wrote under the pen name Catherine Addison, so I wanted to try something more from her. And the books are Melusine, The Virtue, The Mirador, and Corambis. I think the first 2 books are out of print and they are not even available as ebooks. So when I saw the whole series on eBay, I created an eBay account and bid for them. So The Doctrine of Labyrinth is a dark fantasy series with male-male romance in it. Felix Harrogate is a dashing, highly respected wizard, but none of his peers know that his abusive older master trained him to pass as a nobleman. Mildmay the Fox is a cat burglar who was trained as a kept thief and assassin. These 2 are thrown together by fate and journey far from Melusine through lands thick with strange magics and terrible demons. So it sounds quite different from The Goblin Emperor, but I'm really in the mood for dark fantasy lately, so I'm looking forward to these. And then back to ebooks. Most of the ebooks I bought this year have been on sale, but these weren't. I wanted to spend the last of my Amazon gift card money that I got for Christmas from my sister on these, and they are 2 books by T. Kingfisher or Ursula Vernon. The first is Summer in Orcus, and the second one is Jackalope Wives. Summer in Orcus is a portal fantasy with fairy tale elements. It says, when the witch Baba Yaga walks her house into the backyard, 11-year-old Summer enters into a bargain for her heart's desire. And I love stories with Baba Yaga in them. And Jackalope Wives and Other Stories is T. Kingfisher's or Ursula Verner's second short story collection, and I love the title story, and I will leave a link to it in the description where you can read it online. So now that the gift card is finally gone, I think I will be buying a lot less ebooks from now on. And the final thing that I have picked up is a rare book of Cunning Device by Ben Aronovich. This is a short story in the Peter Grant Urban Fantasy series, and it is free on Audible. So when I finished the newest Peter Grant book, I went and downloaded this. I haven't listened to it yet, but I think it's set after the 5th book, and it takes place in the British Library. So those were all the books that I bought this spring. That was 16 books. I was doing pretty well buying 2 or 3 books each month, but then eBay happened. But I'm really glad to have this series since it is so difficult to get a hold of. Let me know if you have any thoughts on these books that I showed you. And that's all from me for now, and I will see you in my next video.